Hello, welcome back to the reading of the poem of the Man God, written by Maria Valtorta, Volume 2, Chapter 186, Part 1, The Demoniacs of Gadara, 11th June 1945. The vision, the calming of the storm, which you saw on 30th January 1944, is to be put here. Then the following vision. Jesus, after crossing the lake from northwest to southeast, asks Peter to land near Hippos. Peter obeys without discussing and takes the boat down to the mouth of a little river, which is in flood because of the springtime rains and of the recent storm, and flows into the lake through one of the wild rocky gorges common to this coastal area. The assistants, there is one in each boat, fasten the boats and are ordered to wait until evening to go back to Capernaum. And be as dumb as an ox, suggests Peter. If they ask you where the master is, reply without hesitation, I don't know. And if anyone wants to know where he is going to, give the same reply. In any case, it is the truth, for you don't know. They part, and Jesus begins to ascend a steep path, which climbs the almost upright cliff. The apostles follow him along a very hard path, up to the summit of the cliff, which levels over to a tableland strewn with oak trees, under which there are many pigs pasturing. Stinking animals, exclaims Bartholomew. They prevent us from passing. No, they do not. There is room for everybody, replies Jesus calmly. In any case, the swineherds, when they see the Israelites, endeavor to gather the pigs under the oak trees, leaving the path free. And the apostles pass by, making endless grimaces. Among the filth left by the grouting animals, which, fat as they are, seem anxious to become even fatter, Jesus passes without any fuss, saying to the swineherds, May God reward you for your kindness. The swineherds, poor people, not much cleaner than their pigs, but infinitely thinner, look at him amazed, and then whisper to one another. One of them says, Is he perhaps not an Israelite? And the others reply to him, Don't you see that his tunic is fringed? The group of the apostles gather together, now that they can proceed in one group along a fairly wide path. The view is beautiful, only a few score of feet above the lake. It commands a view over the whole lake, with the towns spread along its shores. Tiberias is splendid with its beautiful buildings on the opposite shore facing the apostles. Below this spot, at the foot of the basaltic cliff, the short beach looks like a green pillow, whereas on the opposite shore, from Tiberias to the mouth of the Jordan, there is a rather widespread marshy plain, due to the river having difficulty in resuming its course after delaying in the placid lake. But the plain looks like a garden because it is so thick with marsh flora and is densely populated with colorful variegated waterfowl, which seem bedecked with jewels. The birds rise from the thick grass and from the reed thickets. They fly over the lake. They dive into it to steal a fish from its water, and they rise even more brilliant because the water has brightened up their plumage. And then they fly back to the plain where the wind plays swaying its many-colored flowers. Up here, instead, there are woods of very tall oak trees, under which the grass is soft and emerald green, and beyond this strip of woods, on the other side of a large valley, the mountain climbs again, forming a very steep rocky summit, on which houses rise, built on terraces. I think that the mountainside and the walls of the houses are all one, for its caves are used as dwellings in a mixture of a troglodyte and ordinary village. It is a village characteristic of structures on large rising terraces, so that the roof of the house on the terrace below is at the height of the ground entrance of the terrace above it. On the sides, where the mountain is very steep, so steep that no house can be built there, there are caves, deep crevices and descents dropping down to the valley. In the season of downpours, the descents must become as many whimsical little torrents, kinds of blocks, which the floods have rolled down to the valley, form a chaotic pedestal for the little mountain which is so wild and steep, hunchbacked and overbearing that it looks like a squire who wants to be respected at all costs. "Is that not Gamala?" asks the zealot. "Yes, it is Gamala. Do you know the town?" says Jesus. "I was a fugitive there one night a long time ago. Then I was affected by leprosy, and I did not come out of the sepulchres any more." "Did they pursue you so far?" "I was coming from Syria, where I had gone seeking protection, but they discovered me, and only my flight to this place saved me from being captured. Afterwards, slowly and continuously threatened, I went down as far as the desert of Tekoa, and from there, suffering already from leprosy, to the valley of the dead. Leprosy saved me from my enemies." "These people are heathens, are they not?" asks the Iscariot. "Almost everybody. Only a few Jews are here on business, and then there is a mixture of beliefs, or no beliefs at all. But they did not treat the fugitive badly." "These are places for bandits. What gorges!" exclaim many. "Yes, but believe me, there are more bandits on the other side," says John, who is still impressed by the capture of the Baptist. "On the other side, there are bandits also among those who enjoy the reputation of being just," concludes his brother. Jesus begins to speak, "And yet we go near them without feeling disgusted. Whereas here you were making grimaces because you had to pass near some animals. They are unclean. A sinner is much more so. These animals are made like that, and it is not their fault if they are like that. Man instead is responsible for being unclean because of his sins." "Why then are they classified as unclean for us?" asks Philip. "I have mentioned that once. In this commandment there is a supernatural reason and a natural one. The former reason is to teach the chosen people to live bearing in mind its election and the dignity of man, also in a common action like eating. A savage feeds on everything. It is enough for him to fill his stomach. A pagan, even if he is not a savage, also eats everything, without considering that overeating foments vices and inclinations which degrade man. Nay, pagans endeavor to arrive at this frenzy for pleasure, which is almost a religion for them. The more learned amongst you are aware of obscene celebrations in honor of their gods, which degenerate into lecherous orgies. A son of the people of God must be able to control himself, perfecting himself through obedience and prudence, bearing in mind his origin and his end. God and heaven. The natural reason is not to stimulate the blood by means of food that causes a heat unbecoming of man, who is not forbidden also carnal love, but must always moderate it, with the freshness of his soul tending to heaven. Man must therefore make sure that the sentiment that joins him to his wife, in whom he must see a fellow creature like himself, not a female, is love, not sensuality. But the poor animals are neither guilty of being pigs, nor of the effects that the flesh of pigs may cause in man's blood in the long run, and the swineherds are much less guilty. If they are honest, what difference will there be in the next life between them and the scribe who is bent over his books, but does not learn to be good? I solemnly tell you that we shall see swineherds among the just, and scribes among the unjust. For what is ruining? This has been a reading from the poem of the Man God, written by Maria Valtorta, Volume 2. Chapter 186, Part 1, The Demoniacs of Gadara. Thank you for listening. I will see you tomorrow. May God bless you, and may peace be with you.